Tim O'Hare, thank you so much. You are the Republican running for Tarrant County Judge, and why should citizens of Tarrant County select you over your opponent?
This position needs a responsible, disciplined leader. I'll bring that to the role of county judge in Tarrant County. We need property tax relief in Tarrant County. In this age of incredible, staggering inflation, we need to let people keep more of their money, and I have talked from day one about we're going to cut your property taxes. People also want someone who's going to be strong on crime. We will fully fund the Sheriff's Department. We will fully fund the District Attorney's Office. My opponent was a proponent of defund the police when she ran for mayor. We also need people who will speak the truth and speak up on issues, not worried about is it going to affect the re-election, is the media going to come after them, is the mob going to come after them, but will speak truth and lead, on things like education. Parents should have the final say in their children's education, and I'll be someone that will speak out on issues that are important of the day that are affecting Americans all across the county.
So let me ask you just about property taxes. How do you lower them?
Well, so the first thing you do is you be committed to it, and you look for ways to do it. You be intentional about it. In today's climate for jobs, you have people that are leaving the county, leaving places of employment all over the place, private, public, it doesn't matter. So attrition will be a big way to address it. And you have to look, so what does government do when somebody leaves a job? They immediately rush to go put a post out there, a job opening, hey, we got to hire someone. What I want to do is make everybody in the county that loses an employee bring to the Commissioner's Court a request to fill that position, and they're going to have to tell us why we need to fill it, why it can't be combined with another job, and so you can accomplish a ton of it just right there. With having entrepreneurial, business-minded leadership, you can always find ways to be more efficient. And one of the things that we've talked about throughout the campaign is we're going to seek to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse. In every organization, especially in government organizations, there's always excessive spending, there's always waste, and we're going to be intentional about finding it, and we're going to make sure our department heads and other elected officials are intentional about finding it, and we'll be able to provide real tax relief to our residents for our next budget.
You also mention on your website, as far as your priorities are concerned, jobs and the economy. How do you attract businesses to Tarrant County? Obviously, a lot has come, and Fort Worth has expanded, at least on the north side. But as far as the county is concerned, and I'm just wondering, because Collin County is very active, Dallas County obviously very active, so how do you compete with them?
Yeah. You bring up a great question. So if you take a look at the tax base in Tarrant County and Fort Worth, you'll see that we're too reliant on residential homes. So how do you address that? You bring in more high-quality companies with more high-quality jobs. Just going to the businesses and saying, this place is open for business, this is an awesome place, that's the first step. Again, it's about being intentional. You can't just sit around and say, we want high-quality companies to come to Tarrant County and then just hope they knock on the door. You have to go out and find them. And the biggest piece of it all, I think, that I can bring as county judge is when businesses, relocators, cities want someone who will be the biggest and best salesman for Tarrant County in that meeting where we can tell people why this is an incredible place to live, why this is the place they can come. I've done that. I've had experience doing it. We've brought a lot of companies in my former elected role. It's something I love to do, and I believe this with all of my heart. Tarrant County, Fort Worth, Arlington, this whole place where I live, South Lake, this is an awesome place to live. It is Texas, and it is the friendliest side of the Metroplex. It's the most laid back, and I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just a great place to live, go to church, raise a family, and work, and we got to do a better job of selling it, and I think I can bring that to the table.
So you're talking about you as county judge going out and actively recruiting.
Absolutely, and I'm talking about us doing it at the county, and I'm talking about the cities that are doing it, me being a partner next to them if they want it, where I will sit in on those meetings with them and tell them why this is a great place to be and why they ought to relocate to Fort Worth or South Lake or Bedford or wherever it may be.
Another thing that you mentioned on your website, having an election integrity officer. Why do you think that's necessary, and does this person replace the elections administrator?
No, not at all. So why I think this is necessary is twofold. One, there are a lot of people that have lost faith in our elections. So what this person will do is they will act like an auditor, and they're going to go look at our processes, look at our procedures, independent from elections administration, independent from the commissioner's court, and make recommendations on how to make sure our elections are safe and secure so that everyone can feel confident that when they cast their vote, it's going to be counted. That's one piece of it, but I think that's probably the more simple piece of it and the one that'll take the least amount of time. The second piece of it is they're going to go out and actively seek to find people committing voter fraud. So you take sex trafficking, drug trafficking. We have task forces going out into the community to find it and root it out. They're just not, law enforcement's not just sitting around waiting for somebody to call and say, hey, I think there's human trafficking going on next door. They're actively seeking to root it out, find it, and put bad people behind bars. We don't have anyone in Tarrant County actively going out to seek to find it. And you know what? What if we find that there's not much going on? Great. It's good for everybody. How much fraud is okay? I would say none. So that's what that person's going to do. And I've talked to Phil Sorrells, our district attorney candidate, who I think will also win in November. And we'll coordinate with him and his office. And whether we do it this way or we do it through someone in the DA's office that's doing it, it's an important thing that voters in Tarrant County want and deserve.
I was just going to ask you, isn't that a DA function?
It's a DA function to prosecute them. It's not necessarily a DA's function to go out and find it. That's more of a law enforcement function.
But this person wouldn't be a law enforcement officer, right?
Well, no, they would have full law enforcement investigative authority if it goes the way that I've proposed it. But you got to get 3 votes, and you got to get 2 other commissioners to approve it for it to happen. But I feel confident in saying we're going to have someone addressing election integrity and election fraud in Tarrant County if I'm fortunate enough to be elected.
During the primary, when we had an interview, you told me that your campaign was about keeping Tarrant County the largest Republican county in the state. Is this campaign designed now the same way? I mean, is this a priority for you?
Well, certainly we want Tarrant County to remain a Republican county. I'm proud to be a Republican. I think Republican ideas are the best way to govern. We don't want to have excessive bloat. We don't want to have excessive spending. Ultimately, I think our message about being tough on crime, lowering property taxes, being a voice for parents and education, eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse, I think it's a universal message, and we should all be doing that. You know, sometimes people get caught up in, well, he's a Republican, he's a Democrat, whatever the case may be. Ultimately, everybody wants good government, and everybody wants consistent, reliable, disciplined leadership. That's what I'll bring to Tarrant County.
And my final question is, what is your path to victory?
Our path to victory is get Republicans out to vote and win over people in the middle. Win over undecided voters, win over Democrats who are saying, I'm not sure I like what's going on inside our party. People need to know that I'm someone that can work with everyone. I'm someone that will listen to everyone. And at the end of the day, we're all Americans, we're all Tarrant County, we should all be pulling in the same direction, and I'm the kind of person that can bring people together and lead and do it with listening to everyone.
Tim O'Hare, Republican candidate for Tarrant County Judge, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Jack, always.
We appreciate it.
You bet.